Hey book readers, and welcome for the first time to the channel, my wife Lauren. She's agreed to join me for the first time ever, and hopefully not the last time ever, for a little game today. We are going to play something that I made up. It's called History or Mystery. Now, how familiar are you with history?
Oh, with history? Well, I'm a history teacher, so I hope I don't embarrass myself.
That would be good. That would be good. And what about mystery novels? How familiar are you with those?
Not familiar at all. I don't really read mystery novels.
Why not? Why not?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just... Is there a reason I'm supposed to give? I don't know. I'm just more into... I don't know. I like fantasy, sci-fi, just like literature. I don't know. I don't read mystery novels that much.
Okay. Do you feel that they trick you sometimes? Like, you know, maybe you don't figure out who's gonna...
Yeah, I probably don't like feeling dumb and not being able to figure out.
Well, you're playing the perfect game because that is the point of this game, is to try and trick you.
Okay.
Here's how it works. I'm going to give you the title of something. You have to tell me if it's from the pages of history or the genre of mystery. For example, is the Louisiana Purchase a famous moment in history or a mystery novel?
Famous moment in history.
All right, that's a softball to get you started. All right, so there are 13 total titles that we're going to have here. If you get less than 9 answers correct, you'll receive a punishment.
Okay, what's the punishment?
Which is that you'll be history, and I'll be forced to reveal an embarrassing photo of you from the past. Okay. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. All right, so the first one is the era of good feelings. What do you think? History, from the pages of history or the genre of mystery?
Okay, I'm supposed to talk about this, right? I can't just shout it out.
You cannot just shout out an answer. Give me your reason.
All right, well, the era of good feelings.
Not to be confused with the era of good feelings.
Okay. If I remember correctly from last semester when I taught it, it comes after the War of 1812. So this is during James Monroe's presidency. Lasts from about 1816 to 1824. And it's called the era of good feelings, not because everyone feels good, because there's a lot of issues with like slavery that people have going on, a lot of disagreements there. We got the Missouri Compromise, but there aren't really any political challengers to James Monroe. So when he has a Federalist who challenges him in 1816 when he wins the presidency in 1816, but then in 1820, I believe, someone might correct me in the comments section, I believe he runs almost unopposed. Technically, John Quincy Adams gets one electoral college vote, I think because they just didn't want George Washington to... He had previously been the only president who had never... Sorry, he was the only president who got all the electoral college... He didn't get all the electoral college votes, but he had been unanimously elected, and they didn't want... like Monroe to essentially be like as good as Washington. So one guy votes for John Quincy Adams, but Adams was actually James Monroe's Secretary of State. So no one was actually like, Quincy Adams wasn't actually trying to beat Monroe in the presidency. And so I'm going to say
you seem history. Fairly confident.
Yes.
Maybe this was the softball one to get us started. Yes, you are correct.
I'm talking your ear off.
I mean, I felt like I was in the classroom as part of a lecture there for a minute. But yes, history. Okay. As this says, I think you covered. I was gonna give a whole spiel about it here, but I think it was marked by a sense of nationalism and patriotism following the War of 1812. Correct me if I'm wrong here. And signing the Treaty of
Ghent.
Ghent. Yes. All right, there we go. So there's the first one. You crushed that one. I'm sorry it was so easy. All right, how about Angel's Glow for the second one? Angel's Glow, is that from the pages of history or the genre of mystery?
This is not a softball, or at least I hope it wasn't supposed to be a softball.
No.
Angel's Glow.
What do you think that might be referring to?
I mean, it is nothing definitely that I've ever heard of. It's not something that I teach about, but I guess it could be something that happened, some obscure event.
But what about a mystery novel?
I know, I'm trying to think Angel's Glow. I mean, it makes me think of, what was that book that like it was all about the conspiracy theory with like Jesus and...
Oh, the Da Vinci Code?
It makes me think of the Da Vinci Code for some reason. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know why it reminds me of...
A little Dan Brown.
A little Dan Brown,
okay.
Yeah. Angel's Glow.
What do you think you're going to go with?
I guess I'm going to go with mystery, because I've never heard of it whatsoever.
Mystery.
mystery.
That is incorrect.
Oh,
it is from the
okay.
pages of history.
Okay.
Angel's glow was a phenomenon of the Civil War in which soldiers' wounds seemed to glow in the dark. It took 139 years to figure out why. Any guesses?
Okay, their wounds.
Their
glowed.
wounds would glow after the Civil War, after Battle of the Civil War.
So is it maybe some kind of like random medical treatment that they gave soldiers and had some kind of like, what is it, like not iridescent, but one of the like something that from some animal or something? That maybe
all right,
glows in
you're
the
on the
dark?
right path there. On the night of April 7th, after the Battle of Shiloh was over, many wounded soldiers remained in the middle of the muddy field waiting for rescue. During the night, some of the men noticed that their open wounds began to glow in the dark, displaying a greenish-blue color.
Was it the mud?
Yeah.
Okay.
The men had no explanation for the strange glow, but doctors soon discovered that soldiers who had reported seeing their wounds glow had a higher chance of survival than survivors who did not. The cause of the glow wasn't discovered until 2001. Turns out there was a bioluminescent bacterium for which Shiloh was quite hospitable, thanks to the presence of nematodes, which are parasitic worms that burrow into the blood vessels of larvae. Inside these nematodes is a bacterium called Photorhabdus luminescens. Once they have found a suitable host larvae, the nematodes vomit up the bacteria, which produces a chemical that kills the host and all the surrounding microorganisms. So,
Well, that is my like. I'm not into military history, so sorry for all the
Okay.
history
Well,
buffs out
I
there
feel
who
like that
bring
was-
you that, and I feel shamed now. That
no, I think that was buried
but
pretty deep here. All right, so you're one and one here.
One and
All right.
one. All right.
The next one is the violin conspiracy, from the pages of history or the genre of mystery. Again, I'm giving
The
you.
violin conspiracy. I mean, so that definitely sounds like it could be something in history. Like there's all sorts of conspiracy theories.
Over musical instruments, a lot of the time.
Right,
All
right.
the time. Musical instruments, the cello conspiracy.
Yeah.
Tuba.
I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, there could be some kind of like random thing in musical history of some orchestra, or. But it also sounds like a really good mystery novel. Like there's a violinist who's been murdered, or he is the murderer, or
You murder someone with the bow.
It's a group of violinists who are faking something or killing people. I don't know. I'm gonna. The violin conspiracy. Again, I have. It doesn't make me think of anything in history, and so I'm just gonna go with mystery. That's my guess.
That is correct.
Okay.
It is a mystery novel
All
by
right.
Brendan Slocum. The synopsis quickly is, Ray McMillan loves playing the violin more than anything, and nothing will stop him from pursuing his dream of becoming a professional musician. Not his mother, who thinks he should get a real job, not the fact that he can't afford a high-caliber violin, not the racism inherent in the classical music world, and when he makes the startling discovery that his great-grandfather's fiddle is actually a priceless Stradivarius, his star begins to rise. Then with the International Tchaikovsky Competition, the Olympics of classical music, fast approaching, his prized family heirloom is stolen. Ray is determined to get it back, but now his family and the descendants of the man who once enslaved Ray's great-grandfather are each claiming that the violin belongs to them. With the odds stacked against him and the pressure mounting, will Ray ever see his beloved violin again?
So it's a group of violinists, and they're stealing violins. They're not murdering people.
No. Missed opportunity. All right. Well, good job. You got back on track there. All right, so the next one is The Dancing Plague. Is that from the pages of history or the genre of
Plague.
mystery? The Dancing Plague.
Okay. So the dancing plague, that kind of makes me think of like in the 1800s when they had what was it? Everyone's basically like doing laughing gas, and they're having these like laughing gas parties. I don't know why, but that's what it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could see maybe there's some community that everyone just starts dancing for some reason, and the doctors, I guess it kind of goes back to the Angel's Glow. Doctors don't know why they're dancing, or it's like those mass hysteria movements when like all the kids feel sick, but it turns out there's nothing wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
The dancing plague. I'm gonna go with history.
Confident?
Not at all. I'm not at all confident,
Well,
but I'm gonna go with it.
You are correct.
Okay.
It was a history thing, and you got very close to what it was.
Okay.
The Dancing Plague of 1518 was a case of dancing mania that occurred in Strasbourg, France from July 1518 to September 1518. Somewhere between 50 and 400 people took to dancing for weeks. There are many theories behind the phenomenon, the most popular being stress-induced mass hysteria.
Oh, there we go.
Other theories include food poisoning. You get, bad piece of French bread, I guess, and you
Yeah.
start going crazy dancing. And religious explanations, whatever that means. Controversy exists over whether people ultimately danced to their deaths. Some sources claim that for a period the plague killed around 15 people per day, but the sources of the city of Strasbourg at the time of the event did not mention the number of deaths or even if there were any fatalities. So we don't know what it was.
Wait, okay, so are they dancing in the street? Where are they dancing?
They're dancing everywhere, I think.
Like in their house, and there's.
I think.
Is it? I mean, are they just like? Is it they kind of? I mean, surely they're not like doing the waltz everywhere. Like, are they just kind of like?
TikTok
shaking?
was a big thing back there. They were all doing different motions.
But are they kind of like the? Is it like the shakers? How they're just like doing kind of crazy motions, or are they like actually
like writhing?
Or are they like writhing? Or are they legit like doing it? They're going completely crazy, and they're doing like complete, choreographed dances, and no one can like get them to stop.
Yeah.
That's
Cupid shuffle, that type of thing. The French Cupid shuffle.
The French Cupid shuffle. Wait, it was in Austria though, right? No, wait.
No, Strasbourg, France. Well, she
Oh.
also was a city in somewhere else. I don't know. There you go. All right, so
Vienna. No, Vienna is not a country.
No.
Vienna is in Austria. I don't know.
So the next one on my list is the Great Molasses Flood. Any idea of the Great Molasses Flood from the pages of history or the genre of mystery?
I mean, it does not sound like a very good mystery novel. Like that. It sounds a little Willy Wonka to me if it's a mystery novel. Like if there's
Augustus Gloop getting swept away.
There's a flood of molasses coming through the streets of London. The Great Molasses Flood. I mean, I'm gonna guess that there was some kind of molasses. I can't say that word. Molasses factory, and something went wrong. And it just started pouring out of the factory.
Comedically, just like the door bursts open.
It has to happen slow, right?
It comes out of the windows.
I don't think there's going to be any deaths from a molasses flood, or even maybe injuries. Maybe something fell down and hurt someone.
Running away, slow motion.
Yeah, like a tank exploded or something, and then it starts slowly flooding out, and you can't stop it, right? There's nothing like so gloopy. I mean, I guess you can't stop really any kind of flood, but yeah, it's
history.
A slow motion history event.
You're correct. Yeah, that one's a little easier, I think. There, this was a disaster that occurred on Wednesday, January 15, 1919, in the North End neighborhood of Boston, which we were recently in. It didn't smell this though. It says a large storage tank filled with 2.3 million U.S. gallons of molasses, weighing approximately 13,000 tons, burst, and the resulting wave of molasses.
It's hard.
It's hard. Speaking is difficult. Rushed through the streets. Rushed.
I don't know about rushed.
Through the streets at an estimated 35 miles per hour.
Oh, okay.
It's
That's
cars.
pretty fast.
You can't run 35 miles an hour.
No.
Killing 21 people and injuring 150. The event entered local folklore, and residents reported for decades afterwards that the area still smelled of molasses on hot summer days.
I guess molasses is a lot more. Is it viscous? It is, or is it viscous?
I can never remember if viscous is slow or viscous means fast.
But I guess it's a lot runnier than I thought. Like, surely
it's not syrup,
if it was like honey,
thick syrup.
yeah, it couldn't do that, right? That wouldn't. Honey couldn't move at 35 miles an hour.
Is there an event in history which it might be confused with? I have one here. Can you think of anything?
The Great Molasses Flood?
Is there anything molasses related in history that you can think of?
Anything molasses? No one's ever asked me that question before.
First time.
I have no idea.
This is not to be confused with another molasses-related historical event, the Molasses Act. Which is a law passed by the British Parliament in 1733 to ensure profitable control of the industry and commerce in the American colonies. Never knew. Never heard of it.
I mean, it's in the textbooks, I think.
Yeah.
Some of them.
It's just syrup.
It's just syrup.
Or syrup.
It's syrup.
To each their own. All right, the next one is the first female U.S. president. The pages of history or the genre of mystery.
The first female U.S. president. Well, since we haven't had a U.S. female president,
I don't know.
Except in TV. I'm gonna go with mystery novel.
What would you think would happen in this mystery novel with the first female president?
She gets murdered. And
she's not the one solving the murder.
No, she's not the one solving the murder. She's got to run a country and wait. No. Kidnapped. She gets kidnapped, I think, and they have to find her. It's a little dark to kill off the first woman.
That would be.
It's not a very.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it is from the pages of history.
Well, you said U.S. president, right?
U.S. president, the first female. Okay, they're stretching the definition here a little bit. What female might have taken over for a president if he was somehow maybe incapacitated or unable to perform?
Oh,
is there anybody?
Are you talking about like Woodrow Wilson when he had his stroke? Okay, and his wife ran the country for him. That is a cheat. That doesn't count.
Got him. That's right. In August of 1914, President Woodrow Wilson lost his wife Ellen. The following March, he was introduced to the widow Edith Galt. 3 months after their introduction, Wilson proposed and the two were married in 1950. Wilson won another term and his new wife became his constant companion. She attended his meetings, was given access to classified materials, and even filtered his mail. In late 1919, a stroke left President Wilson paralyzed and bedridden. Instead of encouraging her husband to resign and being replaced by the vice president, Edith took on a number of his duties herself, hiding the extent of his incapacity from the public. Edith Wilson analyzed every message delivered to the president, barred all officials from bringing him business, assisted him in domestic and international policy in doing so. Though she did not make any crucial decisions, she was accused of running the country in Wilson's absence.
Is this the name of a book that it's calling it? The first female U.S. president?
I don't know. No. This is just a made-up title from you have to stretch to.
All right.
All right. Next one is Bleeding Kansas from the pages of history, the genre of mystery.
Bleeding Kansas.
Is this a softball?
This is a softball. Yeah.
So tell us about Bleeding Kansas.
Oh yeah.
What do you know about?
Give me another lecture.
A short one.
I'm sure your viewers would love that.
A short one.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess. So it's from history.
Yes.
And Bleeding Kansas happens after the Kansas-Nebraska Act is passed. So they decide to take the territory of Kansas and divide it in half between like Kansas and Nebraska, and then they're going to let popular sovereignty decide whether or not slavery gets voted on in Kansas and Nebraska too, but it's a little too far north for cotton.
Y'all can fast forward through this.
Yeah. You're like falling asleep. So lots of people start moving to Kansas, and they're like literally like fighting each other in the streets, starting in like 1857.
People are bleeding.
They are bleeding. I mean, when people died, like it was not like it's. I mean, I guess the molasses flood, people died there too, but yeah, they're killing each other over what government to be in control in Kansas. So it's called Bleeding Kansas.
All right, you got it. I mean, that was again maybe too easy of a question for you. All right. Next one is The Vanishing Year. The Vanishing Year, is that from the pages of history or the genre of mystery?
The Vanishing Year. I mean, that definitely, now that I know that we're not like, we're just making up terms.
Hey,
first one
come
president.
on,
Like,
come on.
what could people call the Vanishing Year? I mean, I guess in some ways you could say like 2020 was...
You think this is a recent?
But it kind of wasn't a vanishing year. Like, you didn't see anyone, you didn't go anywhere.
No.
You think back to what you did in 2020 and you just stayed in your house almost all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a bird just hit the
Flew into our window. Okay.
Maybe 2020.
No, I mean, if it vanished, you wouldn't remember it, right? It's gone.
Well, again, I know that we're not being literal now about the names of these things. But it's definitely a great mystery novel title.
Yeah.
Like, it could be literally like a year that people forgot.
There's a mystery surrounding.
And there's a mystery about why did everyone forget this year?
It'd be almost sci-fi.
I mean, it could be mystery. There could be maybe if the year didn't actually vanish, just people's. I don't know how mystery or how far.
Very mysterious. Yeah, there's some deep dives here. I'm getting names that are supposed to.
Yeah, like are these mysteries really mysteries, or are they a little sci-fi too?
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Vanishing
what are you going
year.
with?
I'm thinking. What's my score right now? How many have I got?
I hope
right?
you're keeping track.
I gotta know. I gotta try to keep these.
You got the Air of Good Feelings. You got one. You missed Angel's Glow, right?
I missed Angel's Glow.
You got Violin Conspiracy.
Violin.
You got The Dancing Plague. You did not. Oh, you did get the Molasses Flood.
Yeah, I got the Molasses Flood.
You didn't get the U.S. President.
Okay, so I've gotten 4 right.
You got Bleeding Kansas.
5 right.
Yeah. Vanishing Year.
The Vanishing Year. I'm gonna go with mystery because.
You're correct.
Okay.
By Kate Moretti. The synopsis, quick overview of the book is, Zoe Whitaker is living a charmed life. She is the beautiful young wife to handsome, charming Wall Street tycoon Henry Whitaker. She is a member of Manhattan's social elite. She is on the board of one of the city's most prestigious philanthropic organizations. She has a perfect Tribeca penthouse in the city and a gorgeous lake house in the country. The finest one, the most up-to-date fashion, the most luxurious vacations are all at her fingertips.
She's got a great life.
She's got a good life. What no one knows is that 5 years ago, dun dun dun, Zoe's life was in danger. Back then, Zoe wasn't Zoe at all. Now her secrets are coming back to haunt her. As the past and present collide, Zoe must decide who she can trust before she, whoever she is, vanishes completely. So she's going somewhere. She's going. She's vanishing. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
I think our idea for the novel was better.
I like it. Yeah.
It's just like, again, this like mass movement.
Maybe the sequel. Yeah. All right. Next up, Miracle Creek. Miracle Creek.
Ooh, Miracle
is this
Creek.
from the pages of history, the genre of mystery?
I mean, it's not a softball, but it sounds like it could be a history thing. Like there's some, either there's a creek people are trying to find, or there's a creek that they've. It makes me think of. What was that? There's some book we read as kids about that like stream or pond that like this family, Tuck Everlasting, that this family would like find, and it made them live forever or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it could be a book like a Miracle Creek. You drink from the water, you live forever. Yeah. But maybe it's just, again, like it's not a Miracle Creek, but there's some little village that has their creek that, you know, just happens to have like people lived a long time living along the creek.
Oh, they're all living 100 plus
well, like, you know, like
lives.
they have like the blue zones, right? So
Right.
people like who live in those areas live really long lives. Maybe people who lived along this creek all lived like into their 90s or something.
What are you going with? History or mystery?
I'm gonna go with history. That's my guess.
You are incorrect. It is a mystery novel by Angie Kim. In rural Miracle Creek, Virginia, Young and Pak Yu run an experimental medical treatment device known as the Miracle Submarine, a pressurized oxygen chamber that patients enter for therapeutic dives. It's also a repository of hopes and dreams. The dream of a mom that her child can be like other kids. The dream of a young doctor desperate to cure his infertility and save his marriage. The dream of the Yus themselves, Korean immigrants who have come to the United States so their teenage daughter can have a better life. When the oxygen chamber mysteriously explodes, killing 2 people, all these dreams shatter with it, and the ensuing murder trial uncovers imaginable secrets and lies.
So, is it a little bit of like sci-fi fantasy also?
I guess so. Sounds like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Experimental medical treatment device.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little sci-fi.
Instead of repository, like, does it actually hold their hopes and
I
dreams?
think that was just kind of, yeah,
like,
I think
they have hopes and dreams because they go to the submarine.
Right,
okay, that's what I was wondering. If it like was literally like that Wish movie. It was like holding their
No, I think
dreams.
it's more, yeah.
Just,
all right. There you got another one wrong. You're skating on thin ice here. All right. Next up is The Dark Year. Talked about The Vanishing Year. This is The Dark Year. From the pages of history.
The Vanishing Year was the mystery, right? Okay, so this is The Dark Year. Mm-hmm. I mean, there could be a lot of things that could be The Dark Year, right? You got
1112, the year 1112, the year. We're just throwing out random years.
Are we doing? Sorry, is this American history? Or
No, this is
India
history.
Oh, this could be like 1112.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
Well, all your ones up to
Big
the
Bang.
Oh, no, you did have the Strasbourg one. You had one that wasn't
the
U.S.
Dancing Flame.
Okay, The Dark Year. I mean, are you trying to trick me? Because, like, I would think it would be history since the other one was mystery, but maybe you're giving me 2 years that are mystery.
I thought that you thought that I would think.
But I knew that you thought that I would think. Yeah. The Dark Year. I mean, there's a good chance that one of the years in history was called The Dark Year. Even, in fact, I think if you say that it's mystery, I bet I could find a history one to try to get my point back.
Earn extra credit.
Or just, like, get credit back.
Get credit back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go with history for this one.
You are correct.
Okay.
In 536 AD, parts of the world experienced darkened skies, colder weather, and crop failures during what is considered to be the worst year to have been alive.
536?
536.
Okay.
A volcano or volcanoes erupted, expelling ash across the northern hemisphere. There isn't a firm consensus as to which volcano it was, with possible candidates in Iceland, North America, Europe, Middle East, and parts of Asia. All those areas experienced a volcanic winter, setting off the coldest decade of the last 2,300 years.
Okay, so this was in Europe, you said?
Yeah, possible candidates in Iceland or North America. but then all the ash
with the
affected
ash.
pretty much everywhere
Okay.
in the northern hemisphere, I think. This resulted in what is known as the Late Antique Little Ice Age. Crops failed and people starved during this time. Many people died, of course. The European population declined, possibly by as much as a third.
And my world history knowledge is real bad.
Yeah.
10th grade, we had a...
Are you really studying 536 though? I mean,
in world history. Actually, nowadays they just like almost start at 1200 in the AP classes. But my world history teacher, we would just do like conspiracy theories, and then he'd be like, "We gotta learn this random list of 100 facts." And then because I had such a terrible world history class in 10th grade, I was always like afraid to take world history classes that I would be behind and everyone would know. So my world history knowledge is really bad.
Okay, well,
I know, it's terrible.
I should have done more of those.
I know, you would have got me on almost all of them.
Okay. All right.
U.S. history, yeah.
We only got, what do we got here left? Oh, we got 3 left. All right, here we go. The Golden Couple. The pages of history, the genre of mystery.
The Golden Couple. Let's see, I need my teacher friend here who knows every little random phrase or the Golden Couple. I mean, that could definitely be a history. Like, there's just some...
Like 2 people?
Two people who I'm thinking they like got married when they were like 15 and they both lived into like their hundreds.
Have you ever considered us the Golden Couple?
Are we the Golden Couple? Have you self-titled us the Golden Couple in this?
Ugh. Very humble.
Yeah. I think that this is like the longest marriage ever on record, and we call them the Golden Couple. So I'm going to go with history.
Oh no. It is a mystery novel by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. Wealthy Washington suburbanites Marissa and Matthew Bishop seem to have it all until Marissa is unfaithful. Beneath their veneer of perfection is a relationship riven by work and lack of intimacy. She wants to repair things for the sake of their 8-year-old son, and because she loves her husband. Enter Avery Chambers. Avery is a therapist who lost her professional license. Still, it doesn't stop her from counseling those in crisis, though they have to adhere to her unorthodox methods. And the Bishops are desperate. When they glide through Avery's door and Marissa reveals her infidelity, all 3 are set on a collision course, because the biggest secrets in the room are still hidden. And it's no longer simply a marriage that's in danger. There you go. Next up, The Straw Hat Riot. Pages of history or genre of mystery.
It sounds like a terrible mystery novel.
Right off the bat.
I mean, I don't know what it is. I can't think of
Straw Hat Riot?
But it doesn't sound like a great mystery novel. Like Golden Couple, I thought about it. I was like, oh, of course that's a mystery novel. Like they look like the Golden Couple, but like you said, they're not. But I can't think of a super interesting premise for a mystery novel over straw hats.
So because...
But it definitely sounds like something in history that happened. Like there was some community and they made straw hats there, or a straw hat caused a riot, or
there's that book.
They wore straw hats to the riot.
Oh, I like that. Fashionable riots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's you got like the zoot suit
Right.
riots.
What's everybody wearing to the riot today?
So maybe you have the straw hat riots.
I'm wearing my straw hat. You could wear yours too. Let's all wear straw hats to the riot. Huzzah!
Just like that. So I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go with history.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Straw Hat Riot of 1922 was a riot that occurred in New York City at the end of summer as a result of unwritten rules in men's fashions at the time.
So this is just like another part of
and a tradition.
No, this is pre-zoot suit.
And a tradition of taunting people who had failed to stop wearing straw hats after autumn began. Originating as a series of minor riots.
Wait, is this like a racial thing or just like different New York? Is it like Italian?
I think it's more just
Irish?
like maybe classes. I don't know. Maybe here we go. Originally as a series of minor riots, it spread due to men wearing straw hats past the unofficial date that was deemed socially acceptable, September 15th. So it lasted 8 days, leading to many arrests and some injuries.
It's like wearing white after Labor Day.
I think so. Yeah.
So were the men who were people were attacking the men wearing the straw hats?
Yeah,
like,
they did. You past the date.
Put on the wool hat. Like
right.
It's too
get
cold.
Your fedora. Get your little.
It must be. I feel like it has to be a rich guy thing. Like
right. That's what I'm saying. Social.
Yeah. Or no, I'm thinking rich against rich. But you're thinking like social classes.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm just thinking. I think it is rich against rich. Right. It has to be like a, because what do poor people care if you're wearing they don't have
Right.
social etiquette for hats.
There are things to worry about than what hat you're wearing.
It's got to be the upper class. Or
Maybe it's the upper class upset that
But they're starting a riot? I don't know.
We're going to have to look more into this.
We'll look more into this. We'll figure it out.
Who is attacking these men in the straw hats?
All right, and the final one, The Long Way Home. The Long Way Home, is that from the pages of history, the genre of mystery?
I mean, that sounds like a great mystery novel title.
Mm-hmm.
But it also
Homeward Bound.
I mean, it makes me think Homeward Bound, but also makes me think of like the Odyssey, right? Maybe there's some guy who leaves from World War I and it takes him like 4 years to get home. They could have written it fictional, or maybe it really did happen. The Long Way Home. It sounds a little too generic though. Like all these real life history ones have been very awkward sounding. The Straw Hat Riot.
Yeah.
The Long Way Home is just like very.
It flows.
It flows. It's what you want to have on your bookshelf. Like it just looks pretty. So I'm gonna say.
The picture of a house on a hill.
Yeah, with like a long path leading up to it. I'm gonna say mystery.
You are correct. By Lewis Penny. This is book number 10 in the Three Pines series. Happily retired in the village of Three Pines, Armand Garmache, former chief inspector of homicide with the police of Quebec, I guess, has found a peace he'd only imagined possible. While Gamache doesn't talk about his wounds and his balm, Clara tells him about hers. Peter, her artist husband, has failed to come home.
Who's Clara?
I don't know. This is number 10 in the series. We're picking up kind of in the middle of it.
Okay.
Failed to show up as promised on the first anniversary of their separation. She wants Gamache's help to find him. Having finally found sanctuary, Gamache feels a near revulsion at the thought of leaving Three Pines, but he joins her. Together with his former second-in-command, Jean-Guy Beauvoir and Myrna Landers, French is immaculate, they journey deeper and deeper into Quebec and deeper into the soul of Peter Moreau, a man so desperate.
Okay, so we need to read the first 9.
Maybe, yeah. There you have it. So you might have been right around there at the cutoff.
I got more than. Wait, how many did I have
You
to
had
get
to
right
get
to not have
9.
I got.
If you get less than 9.
I can only get 2 wrong?
No, there were 13.
Wait, I get 4 wrong. Okay.
Yeah, so you didn't get Angel's Glow.
Angel's Glow.
You didn't get female U.S. president.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get the Vanishing Year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get the Vanishing Year, but I did get the Dark.
Did you get Miracle Creek?
Oh, I thought that was history.
Yeah, you got that one wrong too.
That's 4. Did I get any other
Golden
wrong?
Couple.
And I got Golden Couple wrong too, didn't I?
So the punishment, I have to show you
picture. Which
embarrassing
picture
picture from the past. I'll show you what I'm going to show. Here it is. Okay. There you are, with your garter flask that you always have on you.
Yes.
I'll put this up so everyone else can see. It's very embarrassing. Yeah. The fashion back then.
Yeah,
it's a good look.
I hide that one in the photo books.
Oh, there you go. Thanks for playing, Lauren.
All right.
Any final thoughts?
No. This was better than I thought it was going to be. It was fun. High five.
All right. And happy reading, as always.